really appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're recording right now, so everything's good. All right. So today we are going to talk about how to decrease your cost per lead by 400% using artificial intelligence. I had the privilege of doing this presentation for a bunch of masterminds and really cool things like settings trying to hit where it says mute when people enter. Yeah. So I've done this for the James Wedmore next level thing. I've done this for Jessica DeRose's mastermind. This is my new introduction to teaching people about the possibility of AI and AI art. If you guys have been seeing anything that I've been doing in the business, you've seen that I've actually been using AI art for social content, and you're going to see how much that's really transformed things in the business and being able to create viral posts, being able to create engaging content. And the main thing here is how much this has increased conversions with ads and decreased the actual cost per lead. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And like I said, if you are watching on Facebook and you were trying to get into the easy webinar room, I'm so sorry it was not working. And like I said, this is a really good learning lesson in going with the technology that works. And sometimes it sounds fun to have something a little fancier and then things break. And Zoom is really dependable. So thank goodness for Zoom. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the presentation here. All right. And I want to make sure you guys can see and hear me okay. Okay, great. So how I decreased my launch cost per lead by 400% with the possibility of AI. So what we're going to cover today is talking about like ads last year versus this year. And technically it was like fall of 2022 versus the fall of 2021, like what the big difference is with that. What is text to image AI, the basics of what's available to you to now, what you can create with AI, and then case studies and the magic of output. So my intention for you today is to light you on fire about AI. I am obsessed. I am super obsessed. And we can talk a little bit about the ethics of AI and things that have come up that way too, like about different systems, what they mean, and how to actually be someone who's generating AI in the most ethical way possible. I'm a former ethics professor, so it's important to me to really be aware of what's going on, putting the finger on the pulse of what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. And you guys are going to see a video today that's really going to help you understand how AI works with machine learning and how it's not a collage thing. It's not a filter. It is something that is really powerful. And really some amazing things can come from it if you use it in the right way. So we're going to play a little game right now, which is going to be what converted better. And this is going to be really fun because you're going to see some interesting things about what you think will convert with ads and what actually converts. Okay. So looking at number 1 and number 2 here as an ad creative, which one, and tell me in the chat here, which one do you think converted better, number 1 or number 2? Okay. I see 2. Anybody else? 1, say. Anybody else see the difference in conversions here? 2 or 1, 2 or 1, 1 or 2. 2. Okay. This is generally when I've done this presentation before, the answer is always generally 2. So I'm going to say you win because the answer is actually 1. And the question could be like, why? This picture is obviously more interesting, more engaging. This is obviously also not AI. These are regular branded pictures. But there is part of what we need to understand about conversions and deciding what sort of ad creatives actually convert is going to be dependent on testing. I have the saying, you guys have probably heard me say it before, that guessing is expensive. And that's like really what we can see here, right? Is that just by guessing, if you were only going to move forward with a couple of creatives and you decided on images like this, you're not going to end up getting as good of cost per lead as if you actually had tested them. So looking at this next one, which one do you think converted better, 1 or 2? Trisha says 1. Anybody else? 1. So yeah, you guys are right. So number 1 converted better than number 2. I personally was surprised by this because you would think in pop culture, using an image of somebody that everybody recognizes like Oprah, making a cultural reference like that you get a car, you get a car, you get a car thing. And I know Alex is here and she lives in Germany, so you might not know that. Are you familiar with the you get a car thing? No, yeah. So basically, just for you foreigners that are here, or non-Americans, basically Oprah's a super famous, very rich talk show host here. And on one of her TV episodes, she gave everybody in the audience a car. And it was really funny because she's, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. So seeing different cultural references and ads, not uncommon. People think, oh, there's a certain amount of celebrity or credibility or reference, or people think it's funny. But in reality, like number 1 won over number 2, which is just interesting. So looking at these two, which one do you think converted better, number 1 or number 2? Vanessa says number 1. Montse says the number 2. Same. Alex says number 1. All right. Anybody else? So the answer is number 1. Great. When I've done this in other presentations, a lot of people actually guessed on the dog side because I think it's fun, quirky, weird, funny. And you guys do. You guys rock. You guys know this. But again, like, how would you know unless you test? So the top winners out of all the tests back in that fall of 2021 were these 2. And I was really surprised by this. If I was like going into my ad strategy, trying to make sure that I know what ad creative, how many times have you guys ran ads with only 1 or 2 visuals? Like how many of you guys actually test like 10 or 20 visuals when you do your ads? If you do your ads. Yeah. So the best thing to do is really to test multiple creatives. Okay. And the reason for that is because, like, again, guessing is expensive. So this one was another creative. This is a little blurry right now, but it was a picture of me with a PDF. And this was like a little bit high for a PDF, $3.15. Something else that we discovered in our testing was that oftentimes when you have a figure in the ad that looks like it could be the instructor or professional person who's doing who's the guru or the thought leader or whatever. Something that we noticed through testing was that oftentimes when using the face of the thought leader, teacher, guru, the ads were more expensive when they are going to a cold audience versus a hot audience. So somebody who already knows me is going to respond to a picture of me more so than, let's say, somebody who doesn't know me, because, and it makes sense that in this one, it looks a little bit less like this could be a little bit more like a stock instead of me being the person. Maybe it's interesting how if it looks like a professional branded picture and it's going to a cold audience, the common response is, who is that person and why are they in my feed? Where if it's obvious that it's a little bit more stock, like this is obviously not the person who's teaching the workshop, most likely because it's a before and after and it's being funny, the response to it is a lot better. So when we looked at overall cost per lead, it was 795 leads that came in at about $4.64 per lead. And each one of these sections, as you see here, are the primary cold targeting here was for Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, Female Entrepreneur Association. Sometimes we were testing like lead pages. And then down here, you can see these were for hot, which means that it was going to my email list, or it was going to my email list, or it was going to my Facebook following or my Instagram following or video views. And another thing to note is, like, when you're actually running ads to people who know you, when you're doing something that looks more like a stock image, that's also going to make the price go up. So in any case, this particular time ads were running a little bit expensive, and it was frustrating because I was trying to do a launch in October of 2021, trying to get my launch done before Christmas. And I was like, $4.64 feels like a lot for these leads. For some people, you guys might see this and be like, this cost per lead is great. But for me, it was not. I was really frustrated by that. And then I'm going to totally say your name correctly. So Akanksha, I don't know how to say it. I'm so sorry for that. So I'm going to call you Ms. Daja. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You said, what about if you have a limited budget? How many can you test? So you still want to test a lot, even with a limited budget. And so what we see works incredibly well is doing $5 per creative. So if you're going to test 20 different ones, you go $5 per day. For each ad set only has one creative in it. You're doing $5. Each has a different image. And you're testing over 3 days with the same audience and the same headline and the same offer. All those things are going to be refined in the following days. But the first thing that you have to test is your creative, because your creative is going to determine what people are going to click on and what you want to move forward with. Right now, Facebook is doing a thing where like they love $5 budgets. I think it's because they lost a lot of ad revenue through a plethora of things. And so they like people trying out ads and giving them really good results with small budgets, because it will get them to spend more money and increase their budgets as they go. And so you can actually get some of the best cost per lead with a $5 budget, which is very counterintuitive. I used to be a person who only had $25 to $100 per ad set budgets, trying to make the system go faster because I usually didn't plan properly and was like trying to get leads in my launch more quickly. But in reality, if you give yourself some time ahead of your launch or whatever you're doing, and test 20 different creatives at $5 a piece, you can still be spending $100, $200 a day or however many creatives you want to do. But instead, you're really capitalizing on Facebook's desire to deliver at that lower amount. And you're going to have an answer in 3 days with the best cost per lead of what to move forward with. And let's just say you're testing 20 different images at $5 a day, and you find out that 3 creatives are just really crushing it amongst all the other ones. The things you're looking for is, what is the cost per lead? But even more importantly, what is the cost? What is the click-through rate? And what is the cost per click? And if your click-through rate is way over 1%, you've got a pretty good indication that people are reacting to the ad and clicking through. The amount of people are seeing it and the amount of people that are clicking through is really high. And if your cost per click is lower, then you found an audience that's not being like overly tapped out by other people who are advertising. If your cost per click is getting really high, it's likely you're going for a target that's either too small, or you're going for a target that's being very heavily marketed to. So we just ran into this recently with a client of mine who was going for doctors, and that cost per click was really high. So his cost per lead was a lot higher because they were like this very highly sought after target. So what we're looking for, again, $5 a day, 1 creative in each ad set, and really seeing after 3 days where you're getting the highest click-through rate and the lowest cost per click. And then also looking at lead price. And there's a couple different things that you can do there where you can gradually use that ad as a control, where you are using it to compare it to when you duplicate and go into scaling. So once you go through this with creatives, then you want to go through the same process with headlines, with copy. At the end of about 9 days, you're going to have winning creatives, winning copy, winning headlines. And then you can even go down and start testing different audiences with your winning combination of creative, headline, and copy. Does anybody have any questions about that? I know that we're not seeing this. I teach this in a program that I call the aiart ad system. And there's a very clear breakdown of like how to do this in that program. Yeah, but from a high level, if you've ever run ads before, this should make a little bit of sense. If you've never ran ads before, then this might sound like foreign language, and that's okay. Okay, so high level strategy here. These were some of the first images I ever created with aiart. And the way that I looked at it was I was like, what could I do here that would create an amazingly highly converting ad that would really serve my ideal client. And how many of you guys, and let me know in the chat if this is you, have purchased stock images before? Like you've gone to Shutterstock or Creative Market or any of those. And how many times have you had a hard time finding the images that you want in the style that you want or the demographic? Oh, Trisha says always. Yeah. Try to no luck. So the big dilemma with stock image companies is that they oftentimes are not diverse. It's okay, Dr. Kara. She says, I just managed to join. You just missed the first couple of minutes. So sorry. So many of the stock images that are out there look contrived. We've all seen the super nerdy, like cheesy images of people being like, yeah, it's like a thing, right? And so the thing that's really significant about AI art in general is that when you have a robot or technology creating the art for you, even though technically you can't own the copyright to it because it is created by a robot, and the laws in the United States specifically have not decided that robots has decided temporarily, we'll see how things go, that if a robot creates an image, it can't be copyrighted. However, when you generate art in certain AI platforms, and you really have to look at the terms and conditions of whichever ones you're using. So something like Canva might be different than something like Jasper, that might be different than something, from dalle or whatever. Every single AI generator that you're gonna go to is gonna have different licensing agreements. But the one thing that's true is that a robot is not going to sue you. So even if you don't have the copyright where you could say, this is mine, nobody else could have it, like sharing that things have been made with AI, as long as they didn't come from something like, you guys will see brand images that I did of myself. Those have a certain amount of rights because it is a picture of me and I own my likeness and I have a right to my likeness. So anything that's created AI generated from that, I have a right to likeness there that other people wouldn't be able to use. But the point here is that when you create AI images in many of the generators, you have the ability to use it for commercial purposes. And that's because nobody owns the copyright to it. This also means you could transfer the ability for other businesses to use it for their business because nobody owns the copyright for it. So this is created, of course, check with your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. But yeah, the images aren't, she was saying like the images in stock aren't inclusive. Exactly. So when all this technology came out with this ability to create amazing art with AI, like my first thought was, how can I get images that coaches, course creators, consultants, people who are like trying to promote their business, how could I create images for them to use for their business? And I could use it as a lead magnet to be able to grow my email list. So when I did this, a tremendous thing happened. I ended up producing all of these images in a matter of like probably about 15, 20 minutes. And then I had this ability to use them in ads like this. So what I did was I wrote, get these 37 beautiful celestial images for free to use commercially or for personal projects as a gift to you when you join our free group of world changers, life coaches, light workers, transformational coaches, creatives, course creators. These images are a diverse mix of amazing pieces. You're absolutely going to love them. So I really made sure that the images were as diverse as possible because I know that there's a lot of stock images out there that don't show a variety of ethnicities, a variety of disabilities. And I knew that they could really use them in their business. Of course, this is going to bring down the cost per lead. And in addition to that, it's also serving all kinds of people that I would love to serve in my audience, and allowing business owners to also use these images to serve other ethnicities in their audience, which was something that was really important to me. And in addition to that, I felt like it was really important to include different sexual orientations, different things, little people and transgender, all the different things. And what was so funny about this, I literally got through creating all of these different demographics. And then I realized at the end, I forgot men. Oops. Sorry about that. So it was really funny. And since then, of course, I've added images, but I just thought it was interesting. And to take it one step even further, one of the student coaches that is working in my business currently is creating a chatgpt / programming thing that when I decide to run a prompt in a generator, it will then automate and do every single ethnicity and different variation so that when I'm doing these, I can not miss anyone. Okay. So the point here is that using AI art to generate something as a lead magnet was a really powerful thing to do in the business. And this was the beginning of me using AI art. Now, looking at the left piece of copy and the right piece of copy, we haven't read this number 2 one yet, which just says, get these 37 beautiful sessional images for free to use commercially or for personal projects, perfect for social media posts, or you can even use them for prints or anything in your brand. Looking at both of these copies, one is calling out a target market, the other one is calling out some other things here. Which one do you think converted the highest? Okay, Trisha says 1. Anyone else? 1 or 2? Okay, Dr. Cara says 2. Vanessa says 2. David says 2. Can you guys tell me why 2? Cherie says 2. Yeah, it reads faster. Yep. So also thinking about this, I'm making them join a free Facebook group to get this here. There could be, I was putting this in front of Marie Forleo, Amy Porterfield, and the Female Entrepreneur Association. It could be that with these leads coming in, they were more expensive, but they would have been people who identified with those things. But in general, content, copy here, something that was super fast to read, didn't require all these things and things that could have been ostracizing them. But since I was going for cost per lead, this was the one that was winning. Sometimes you guys are going to be going for a target market that's very specific, and you may not want everybody. Right? So you might be putting things in here of, are you XYZ thing? And then that's okay to have that in there to start to become more targeted with who those leads are. Even if they're more expensive, they might fit more of what you're looking for. As you can see here, look at the cost per lead. How much it went down. 2,191 leads for what, 1,000 less, $2,295, $1.05 a lead is really awesome. How much the cost per lead went down with this. And actually some of you guys who might be in this call right now may have come from one of those ads. And when we're thinking about course launching, or we're thinking about any sort of promotion in the business, especially launching, that a lot of people believe you have to build your email list first and then launch. But the reality is, as I learned from my mentor, James Wedmore, is that the launch is the list building activity. So we end up launching something with a budget and launching to that list versus waiting until you're ready to do that. And so this was a really great way to do that, because if you can imagine, if you are generating some money in your business and you can turn around and use $5,000 to put into list growth, like how much would 5,000 new people on your email list change things for you? Some of my best clients in the world have come from Facebook ads. Facebook and Instagram ads. So many times people make money in their business and they just go pay bills and they don't focus on the list growth part, or they're just waiting to hit it viral on TikTok or in Instagram, and they're spending all of this time. And it's, what if we could just take a portion of the budget and really put it towards ads? And this is something that needs to be done on a regular basis. How do you check that they're the right ones before you present an offer? Great question. So a lot of these ads that I showed you here in both instances on the thank you page did get people to join the Facebook group. So it said, hey, if you want to get this lead magnet quicker, or if you want to watch a workshop that's a supplementary thing to this PDF or these images, join my Facebook group. And so what I discovered through this, and these are using lead ads, by the way, is that as people come into the Facebook group, you can quality control check them. Who is this person? What do they mark themselves as? What do they mark themselves as in title? Do you guys have any mutual friends? If you have a lot of people on your Facebook page, is this someone that seems to have a business that would benefit from what you're selling? So if you're running your ads and you're starting to see, oh, wow, like these are people I don't think that would ever buy, you can start to make a shift in the language in your ad to start to make sure that the right people are called in. Okay. So what did we learn here, everybody? What's the summary of this first part of the presentation? What did we take away from taking a look at all of these things? What's the most important thing that we've learned about with, yes, Alex says test. And how many times did that not happen before? It could be so easy to just guess or be like, oh, I'm so scared to even run one ad. I just am going to dip my toe in here. And then when it doesn't work, we're like, ads don't work and we never do them again. So that's really not how this works. Yeah. And AI art works. Great, Trisha. Great. That's exactly what we're saying here, is that there's something significant about the creative sort of feeling of artificial intelligence art that's working better than we've ever seen with stock images before. Why? Because you can have every varied style in the world, and you can have every varied subject in the world, and you can really create a custom sort of vision for what you are trying to attract. And when you're creating such a custom visual for an ad, let's say like your target market was like gamer nerds, and you had this like really cool tech looking picture, something that a gamer would get really into, or you have a program that you're really trying to call in a specific demographic or a specific style of person. And let's say in stock images, you like can't find anything, but you can orchestrate something that's on trend and also something that's relevant, right? And so that's really important too, is like seeing how you can pivot with everything from cultural events to things that are really like timely, which is super important for AI to convert. So the number one thing here is testing is essential. If you're not testing, you're losing money. The guessing is expensive. You don't want to go with just one creative and call it a day just because one creative doesn't work. Ads can greatly shift based on creative offer and copy. And so when you're doing $5 tests, this really is going to like not eat up your budget too fast to find out what that is. I was just talking to a student the other day and she was saying, you make ads fun. I feel like ads are a game now, actual tool to find out what people want instead of this like big scary thing. People respond to high value offers. It helps if they haven't seen a million things like it. So one of the reasons why the stock images work so well is that people's perceived value of a stock image is probably anywhere between $5 to $20 a picture. And here I was giving 40 something pictures away for free. If you do the math, that's like a minimum of a $400 value. And it's not something that they have to spend a lot of time consuming. So they don't have to go read a PDF. They don't have to consume a mini course. They're literally able to put it into their business in a matter of minutes. And what was so cool is one of the licensing things I put in there was like, if you're going to use this image, I put a thing in licensing, you're not allowed to run ads with these images or use them the way that I'm using them because I'm making that a standard. But what you can do is you can use them to promote anything in your business. Because I'm giving these to you for free, please tag me when you do. And I ended up getting all these tags on Instagram of people using those images for their local events, for business things. And it was so fun to see them. They like were animating the pictures. They were like doing all this really fun stuff. And it really showed me what a collaborative effort it can be when you create something and you invite collaboration with something like that. And another reason why they were so highly converting. I'm going to stop sharing for just a quick second. Ooh, I hope I can find. Oh man, of course, we're going to have all kinds of fun issues where I can't find the Zoom thing. Oh, here it is. Okay. I need to mark this where I can share sound and optimize for video clip. Okay. So this was one of the first AI generators. And it's really cool because I had been waiting for this AI generator to come out for about 2 years. So I've known about AI art for a really long time. I was producing it on these little apps and stuff. And Dalle finally came out, was available and accessible. It's not the best AI generator, But it does, the video that they show that explains how AI art works will help you understand how the images are put together. So you understand what machine learning is and how this is not just a direct sort of ripoff of somebody else's photography or art. It's actually like learning what are good practices in art. It's learning what different mediums are, what different subjects are, how to combine those subjects together in a way that follows proper art rules. And so you're going to see how that works here. So we're going to go ahead and watch this.
Have you ever seen a polar bear playing bass? Or a robot painted like a Picasso? Didn't think so. DALL-E 2 is a new AI system from OpenAI that can take simple text descriptions like a koala dunking a basketball and turn them into photorealistic images that have never existed before. DALL-E 2 can also realistically edit and retouch photos. Based on a simple natural language description, it can fill in or replace part of an image with AI-generated imagery that blends seamlessly with the original. It's called inpainting. In January 2021, OpenAI introduced DALL-E, a system that could generate images from text, like this avocado armchair. DALL-E 2 takes the technology even further with higher resolution, greater comprehension, and new capabilities, like inpainting. It can even start with an image as an input and create variations with different angles and styles. DALL-E was created by training a neural network on images and their text descriptions. Through deep learning, it not only understands individual objects, like koala bears and motorcycles, but learns from relationships between objects. And when you ask DALL-E for an image of a koala bear riding a motorcycle, it knows how to create that or anything else with a relationship to another object or action. The DALL-E research has three main outcomes. First, it can help people express themselves visually in ways they may not have been able to before. Second, an AI-generated image can tell us a lot about whether the system understands us or is just repeating what it's been taught. Third, DALL-E helps humans understand how AI systems see and understand our world. This is a critical part of developing AI that's useful and safe. The technology is constantly evolving, and DALL-E 2 has limitations. If it's taught with images that are incorrectly labeled, a plane labeled car, and a user tries to generate a car, DALL-E may create a plane. It's like talking to a person who learned the wrong word for something. DALL-E can also be limited by gaps in its training. If you type baboon and DALL-E has learned what a baboon is through images and accurate labels, it will generate a lot of great baboons. But if you type howler monkey and it hasn't learned what a howler monkey is, DALL-E will give you its best idea of what it thinks it could be. A howling monkey. What's exciting about the approach used to train DALL-E is that it can take what it learned from a variety of other labeled images and then apply it to a new image. Given a picture of a monkey, DALL-E can infer what it would look like doing something it's never done before, paying its taxes while wearing a funny hat. DALL-E is an example of how imaginative humans and clever systems can work together to make new things, amplifying our creative potential.
All right, just curious to find out from you guys here. Does this feel new or have you seen videos like this before? I'm curious. And does that help you understand how AI artwork? Okay. Dr. Hart, new and super helpful. Great. Awesome. Okay. It's so interesting because that video is what I saw. Maybe it was a year before DALL-E came out. And it is by far not the best AI technology that's out there. It is one of the first though. And what's significant about it is how much, actually it's the same company that developed DALL-E also developed ChatGPT. So it's a really innovative company, all the things, so much amazing stuff. So as you can see here, as we dive deeper in, let me go ahead and keep presenting here. Here was something that actually was said by the main, the board of directors that I'll just show you here. It says this open letter was published on October 24th and was directed at Zuckerberg and a board of directors. It was authored by this guy named Brad Gersten, who's the CEO and founder of a technology investment firm. Which owns roughly 0.1% of Facebook / Meta, according to Hedgefellow. Brad Gerstner said to Meta's foray in the metaverse, while important, should not command such an investment from the company as it currently does. So this, you'll see why this is significant in a second, but basically this guy owns a tiny share of Facebook, but big enough to probably be worth a lot of money was making the opinion and assessment known that he felt like it was really wasteful for Zuckerberg to be spending $10 billion to $15 billion a year on the metaverse project, because that's, if you guys have ever heard of Quest virtual reality, metaverse project is really about augmented reality and virtual reality. And so Zuckerberg's making this decision to spend $10 to $15 billion a year on that. And this guy's, hey, can we not do that? Because because even as Zuckerberg said, it may take 10 years to yield results. So the significance of this is to show how much more cutting edge and important and life-changing AI art is over something virtual reality. And so he basically said an estimated $100 billion investment is unknown future, is supersized and terrifying even by Silicon Valley standards. So the fact that Zuckerberg is going to spend $100 billion to $10 billion a year for 10 years to have something be so unknown is a terrifying situation, because it's not even going to pan out possibly as well as the AI art thing is going. So he says, rather, he's urged the company to focus on artificial intelligence, which includes things like chatgpt and AI art, and less on the metaverse, because it has the potential to drive more economic productivity than the internet itself. So the reason why I'm bringing this to you is to allow you to not get left behind, to be a little bit more cutting edge in what you're doing, because what's happening right now is literally the biggest thing since the internet itself. And a lot of people don't realize that yet. And so while most companies will struggle to monetize AI, we believe Meta is incredibly well positioned to leverage AI and make all of its existing products better, he added. So he has a vested interest in Facebook, and he's really trying to influence them to be like, hey guys, don't drop the ball on this. And so I wanted to use this as a quote to say to you guys, hey guys, let's not drop the ball on this. Okay, so what are the kinds of things that you can create with AI art? You can create stock illustrations and images to sell. We saw how to do it for free with ads. You can have one-of-a-kind brand images to get you noticed. You can have ads with higher conversions that we saw. You can have commercial rights to sell templates, because remember, a robot can't sue you. And speaking of ethics and being sued, don't use the names of working artists in your prompts, and you won't have any issues with that. Design unique products, apparel, mugs, and stickers. Design cool journals or planners to sell for your business. You're going to see some examples of this. Affirmation tarot, oracle cards. Create coffee books. Design children's books. Create unique social media content. Design websites with one-of-a-kind images. Create music videos. Design animatics. Create graphic novels. Create one-of-kind art for your book cover, celebrity portraits for fun or for profit, character design for creative projects. So here's an example of a very dead artist that I used as an inspiration in one of my prompts. And the artist was Walter Crane. And so I was trying to come up with like different things using Walter Crane as inspiration, and was often mixing them with other artists. So the other artist was likely Morris Hirschfield, who these two artists are great. So these were the kinds of things that had come out in a matter of seconds. And what's really cool about this, if you think about it, especially with dead artists, being able to expand their style of work beyond the grave is an interesting thought. And some of these turned out so cool. So first I typed in 2 women under a night sky and the style of Walter Crane, and it produced all of this amazing artwork that I had commercial access to. So I decided to take my favorite picture and put it on a bunch of products. And then I decided to create my very own. So these kind of make me look naked, but cool, like unique leggings just based off of one AI art generation. Okay, so the first I typed in 2 women under a night sky and the style of Walter Crane, and it produced all of this amazing artwork that I had commercial access to. So I decided to take my favorite picture and put it on a bunch of products. And then I decided to create my very own dress. Look at how cute it is. This is what you can do for gifts for yourself commercially. So you're going to want to come take my course. Yeah. First I typed in 2. I think this one's the same. And then this one. Guys. It's all with one piece of art. You're just testing what you could do. The unboxing of the journal I designed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So I designed this with artificial intelligence art, and it is a hardcover journal. This is like some of the stuff that you can do with it, right? And oftentimes with things like stock images, you don't have the right to do print on demand. You don't have the right to sell for templates. You don't have the right to use other people's images in templates you create for your business that you give to them. You can't even do that in Canva, actually. If you were to create a Canva template and use some of Canva's images in your templates and try to sell them, it would be illegal. So are you guys seeing like the benefit here of having access to art that you have? This right here, these images are of me done with artificial intelligence. So these are not real photographs of me. These are actual artificial intelligence images, which is bonkers if you think about it. These pictures do not exist in existence. These were composed of the machine learning what my face looks like and putting it together in a new composition. And I can tell you, really weird to see images of yourself that don't exist. It feels like you're looking at yourself in an alternate reality. You can do really fun things. This was Leonardo DiCaprio, my boyfriend, wanted to see what we look together. I don't know, look more like siblings. Here's some branded images that I used with this machine learning that I had used to create of my face and what that ended up looking like. Here's one of my students, Tatiana, who used the same method for being able to put together branded images of herself. A lot more control than something like Lensa. If you've ever heard, Lensa will create cool images of you, but like, you don't have no creative control. This is 100% creative control. So if you want exceptional work, it means learning what AI to use when creative direction with art movements, style, subject, environment, aspect ratio, corrections, and multimedia if necessary. It's still very possible, even if you're tech phobic and not artistic, which is what I teach to my private clients and in my membership. We cover about like 20 different technologies on how to use different technologies for different things. And we don't really talk about them publicly because they are awesomely amazing. And it changes on a weekly basis, by the way. Like something that we were using a week ago, we're now using something totally different, which is like wild. And what it does is it gives all of the members that are a part of my membership a competitive advantage over everybody who doesn't know about these things. However, there are 1,000 different AI art generators out there. You're welcome to go try them all. Like the thing is about this particular workshop is any AI art that's used in ads is going to work better than a stock image. Okay. So if you're really wanting to get into branded images and those types of things, that's what I specialize in. And this is an example of something I generated I was trying to do this just from text. So I didn't have to program anything to do this. I was just describing the big eyes, red hair, all these things. And I could get it somewhat close to representing me without even doing any programming of the picture of me. These ones were actually generated from images that I had programmed into a system that would really have my likeness down. So you can see that these look a lot more like me because they're based off of a training model of many pictures. Here's an example of two different, all art generators are not created the same. Both of these generations are actually from the same prompt, but look at how different they look based on the capabilities of different AI. This is why I teach 20 different AI processes, because we use different AI for different reasons and different styles. So what a prompt actually looks is like this. So a beautiful pink-haired curvy witch holding a kitten, wearing vintage floral dress, pumpkin flowers, bird cage with bird and print on satin paper, old portrait painting, beauty, femininity, dreams, ethereal, aesthetic, ultra detailed 8K. So you can see how different these are. Like this one didn't even get the kitten. They both are pink-haired, curvy witches, but they don't necessarily they didn't catch single thing here. Something I discovered about this particular phrase, print on satin paper, bird cage with a bird, these two things as a part of this prompt right here generated something that without those phrases in the prompt, even wilder, different things happen. Aesthetic didn't exist at all. So part of what I do with my students is we start to group collect these little tips and tricks on how to get like certain aesthetics with certain types of AI. Here's another example of one that was actually, this is the same exact thing from here, different AI source, same prompt, but with me as an image being trained on it. Okay. So this particular AI did some really weird stuff. Number one, I don't see any kittens. Number two, what is the strange pig child on my chest? I don't know. Do I like the fact that this one looks like me? Sure. I can actually see what I look like with pink hair. So that's fun. This one's kind of sexy. I don't know if I'm digging that. Same prompt, different AI systems. So interesting to see the variation here. So what we haven't talked about today is AI for copy, AI for video, AI that runs ads for you, which is like something that exists, and AI for animations. So that's some of the stuff that we didn't talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about ChatGPT here in just a second. But before we do that, a couple things. If you guys didn't know, I just got engaged. Woohoo! I've been using AI to kind of mess around with wedding plans. So this is me and my guy. We met on OkCupid a year and almost 2 months ago. This was one of the first. I was like, ooh, I want to have a Gothic Marie Antoinette wedding cake. Totally did this in AI. Super fun. Look at how this looks photographic, and it's totally made by robots. Diving in and playing with like different ring styles, everything from rings that I could potentially create and sell to like what a potential engagement ring could look like. I ultimately did not end up designing my own ring, but it was fun in the process to play with that. Taking AI, this is really fun. Taking this AI image of me, creating a dress, merging these two things together to see what sorts of things could come out. This is really interesting. Notice how the dresses are not the same. Sometimes the AI has a mind of its own, and there's a very specific way to get it to get more consistent in merging things together and whatnot. But sometimes it has a mind of its own. So this is an interesting way to take one image from one AI, another image from another AI, put it into another AI system to create all this really cool stuff. And if any of this is feeling complicated to you in the actual membership, like it's not, it's definitely doable for anybody of any creativity or technical. There's a tiny bit of a learning curve, but it's not hard. It's not like you're actually like doing actual programming. So when I say programming images, I don't mean using code or anything. Here's the kinds of things that you can use it for. I ended up having multiple AI generators help me create what I had as a vision for what I want over the next year, the revenue, getting pregnant, being a mom, having a podcast, getting better at pole dancing, which is something I do. And what's so cool is it actually generated this image that was overlooking this lake. And we did end up booking to get married at this specific lake in 3 months. So things from the vision board are already coming true, which is really exciting. If you came to my vision board workshop, you guys will remember me showing you this. Other crazy things, different AI from all the other ones I've shown you, being able to put together wedding looks. Now, these are ridiculous. Like I would not, I would not have my hair like this, and I would not do my makeup like this. This is a little too Texas for me. And I am marrying a Texan, so I can say that. This is just not really my style, or I would say not my vibe. But I definitely thought it was really cool to see what different looks could be with AI. This is not a filter. This is not something that was put on a picture already in existence. This is me taking 30 images and telling a machine to create new images based off of my instructions. Okay, before we go into this part, I'm going to show you guys here. I'm going to stop for a quick second. Do you guys have any questions about anything so far? It's not too techy. If you can type a sentence, if you can move your finger, you'll be able to generate images and even animate them. There's certain people who are here that are in the membership, and they might be able to say, I don't know, Trisha, do you think it's hard? You're in the membership, aren't you? Oh, you're not in it. Aha. Okay. Did you do the AI art ads thing? You joined one of them, didn't you? Yeah. This sounds like getting lost in creativity like Canva. It's really not, because the way that you end up generating images really allows you to be able to do this from a computer and from a phone. And what I've noticed with the students that I've taken through this process, they have the ability to illustrate their dreams, create images that they want to have for their marketing materials. So like slideshows, doing images of course, for like ads, social content is like really important. So it's a little bit different than like choosing a random image on Canva or going down that, and you're not getting stuck in the design part of it. It's pretty fun. Let me show you here real quick. Let's see here. I want to show you what some of the other students' work looks like, so you can get a good idea for what this looks like here. Take a second. So you'll also get to see here what kinds of things. You guys, if you follow me on Facebook, you might have seen some of this stuff before. So the first thing is, when I was deciding on figuring out my brand for this, is again like a mixture of multiple different AI things. I generated an image of a mermaid in one thing, and then I superimposed my face and blended it on top. So there's really cool sort of mixed reality stuff. But the main thing here is using this is really meant to grow your email list, create viral content, decrease your ad cost, create really interesting brand images, and be able to get more clients and more sales because you're attracting them via social organic strategies and paid strategies. Just to give you an idea of what I mean by that, here was a couple of posts that I posted. This first one was of me and my dad, and my dad passed away in 2021, at the beginning of 2021. And with one of the systems I was testing, I could actually program a model for both me and him. And it was so cool because I was able to take this real picture of me and him and be able to generate variations of memories that I had. I did have video of me and my dad making cookies, but I didn't have a picture of it. So I used what I programmed in there to tell the AI to show a picture of my dad and I making cookies. So even though this doesn't look exactly the way that I remember it, just the same way as if there was a mural that was painted that wasn't exactly accurate. Some people really freaked out when I posted this. They're like, you're going to mess up your memories forever. And there'll be this like weird fictitious thing. But I was like, if that was true, then that would mean like all paintings of people in history in medieval times, that it would ruin their memory of their life. There can be artistic representations without being fully accurate, right? So you can see this is the AI picture, and 855 likes, 48 shares. Things like this have a tendency to go viral. So many of the posts that I did, 104,000 new people on my personal Facebook page saw this in 7 days based on the things I was doing with AI. So we did a really fun competition in the membership where I had people create Vogue covers. Super fun. I did these ones on The Wizard of Oz. So I did Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Lion, all the different characters. And so that was really fun. And I had ChatGPT put together a fantasy menu. I was like, I decided to create a mythical restaurant in ChatGPT and then illustrate the ideas with AI art. And so I took all of the descriptions that ChatGPT gave, and then I put it into an AI art generator and had it create the different menu items. People love this. Super fun, like totally random, but engaging content that can create conversations, that can illustrate what you're trying to do, even if you're not doing it the way that I'm doing it, which is like pushing the systems to see what they can do. So this says like a refreshing sorbet made with sparkling mineral water infused with a hint of stardust and topped with edible glitter. It had more of a description here, but notice how the AI illustrated what the ChatGPT did. So this was really fun and really interesting. And it's just so cool to see the stuff that comes out. And I just had this fantasy of creating a mystical restaurant. So this whole project took less than 20 minutes to do. So that just shows you like how you can create highly engaging content. You guys already saw the ads. So this was an example of, they even went down as low as 96 cents per ad later. You saw some of the products, right? So we have the leggings and the dress and all those things. So those were like fun printables. So if you can imagine in your business having an event and wanting to have really cool, like a custom planner or custom journal, and having it really be able to represent your brand without having to do anything too crazy. Facebook doesn't like before and after pictures for body parts. I'm thinking health industry can benefit from AI images. Yeah, you can be generating images of people being healthy for your ads. You're right. They don't often like before and after, specifically when it's related to weight. So here is some of my students' work. I had this thing right here. You can see one of my students did these amazing black mermaid cards. Another student was putting together her cards. This was one of the ones that I put together really quick and I animated it. So it was super fun. And these ones were also done by another student. I thought she did such an amazing job on these. They were so beautiful. And this was a really fun project. So this is why I'm saying, if you guys are trying to fend for yourself, trying to do AI art, just trying to figure it out on your own, you're not getting the graphic design, branding, prepping for print, creative direction. Like I didn't mention this because we didn't really go over my background, but if you're new to me, I'm a former Nike designer. I'm a former university professor of design. So a lot of the things that I do when I'm teaching students is around the principles of design and creative direction and concept and theme and how to speak to your ideal client and your target market, which goes so far beyond just like playing around with an AI generator, right? So this magazine right here, this was so fun to put together. I ended up doing a comic, and the comic community got really mad, and I got death threats, and it was like really hardcore. So anyway, I was like, it was not a fun way to wake up one morning. I just was playing with ChatGPT, and I'm like, ChatGPT, write me a comic story about a girl who's an artist, and took the story from ChatGPT and went in and actually had AI generation, like just generate a bunch of really cool pictures that I turned into a comic, put it out into the world with a bunch of art people, and a bunch of comic book artists saw it and they just lost their mind. Totally understandable. I'm not a traditional comic book artist. They sent me messages on my site that was like, die vulture. Like, there's a lot of people who their whole entire livelihood is based on something creating comic book art. And then somebody like me comes along and I don't know anything about it. And I'm just playing and getting to know things. And so they really didn't like that. And I started thinking about it. And I was like, that's understandable, because I wasn't following like proper comic layout rules. And had I done that, like the response may have been different. I'm like treading in an area maybe that is not the most welcoming. Like they're also known to be not the most welcoming community anyway, in addition to all this AI art stuff, is really stepping on some toes. They have a point, because I'm really good at taking constructive criticism. And so I was like, if I could create a comic that was like 100% my own, something that was different than anything I'd seen before, something that like allowed me to explore ChatGPT and being able to create something creative, what would I do? And I was like, oh, I used to design for Nike. I should do a fashion magazine. That sounds like fun. And so I put together this magazine that we're seeing flip through here in a matter of a couple of hours. And I used Canva for the layout of it, but I generated the images pretty quick. And the trick about this, and what makes this significant, is I had ChatGPT write the story, but I creatively directed what the story was. And the story was about Dahlia Vicious, who is a love child of Sid and Nancy. And she had created a fashion line that she was debuting in Paris. She had gotten in trouble for going to the Palace of Versailles and taking selfies. She got canceled. And then she gets engaged to her, to a guy who was raised in Egyptian culture, but is actually Scottish. He has a Scottish punk band, but he's got Egyptian roots or whatever. So anyways, it tells the whole story. It shows all the things and their entire love process and everything. So I put this all together, and it was so fun. So this kind of gave me the ability to do my own version of a comic, and this went viral. I got a lot of awesome feedback about this. No more complaints from the comic community. So I felt really good about it, but it just shows you like your ability to be able to tap into your inner child and create for the sake of creation. The most common thing that I hear from people in the membership is them saying, wow, like I've never been able to do this before because I didn't have the skill or the time, but now I can execute on I can ideate ideas. I can explore different ideas for my actual art, or I can get that children's book that's in my head out that I've been wanting to make for my kid. Like everything from personal projects to creating social content, to creating things for the business, it becomes like all encompassing. So Dr. Kara says, can you create something on the fly to see the process? So you actually saw an example of what it looks like in some of the systems here. Me typing in, you'll see here in just a second, it obviously doesn't publish on these weird looking things, but you're literally typing a sentence and hitting enter to create some of these things. Some of them are a tiny bit more involved, which is why I have a whole program on it. And of course, knowing what technology to use and when to use it is the main thing here. But yeah, I mean, it's literally typing in, hitting enter, the images generate within anywhere between 1 to 4 minutes. And how we fix those images, how we lay those images out to go to print, all those things. Is there a cost to the platform too? Yeah. So you're paying anywhere between $10 to $60 to get access to the different AI generators. Like they vary. Sometimes it's a one-time $5 fee. Sometimes it's like up to $60 a month, depending on which one you're using. I would say in general, like the overall total cost to do everything you could ever want in the membership. And think about it, there's always going to be costs associated with things like printing cards, for example. But I cover a way to prep this for print with a certain type of software that's very easy to use. There's a cost associated with Canva. So if you wanted to use the premium version of Canva, I think it's $12, right? But then to actually get the cards printed, we ended up, I found a card printing place that does an entire deck of cards in full color for $15 for all these cards for a whole deck. So I really go for things that are super cost effective. So Dr. Carrot, how many platforms would one need? I covered 20 different technologies, but not every student uses every technology. The idea here is we create a custom pathway for you to figure out what you want to do. And so there's not going to be an additional fee over flat rate, like maybe $100. The monthly, in addition, like the most expensive AI platform that we use outside of that is $60 a month in addition to that. So yeah, so that's what I think. Oh, actually, the printing program that we use, I try with every single thing that I teach. Even the platform that I said was like $60, there's a way to do it for $10. So there's always free or inexpensive options depending on what your budget is. If you want to pay more, you get more features of things. Like sometimes you'll get the ability to get a higher resolution image sometimes. So it really just depends. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Drop Deck is, but that might be a printing company. That would be cool. Okay. Wild images for your brand. So just seeing here the system of when I was trying to figure out how I was going to do branding for the business, I was like, ooh, I want to figure out what kind of character I'm going to be. And I had the ability to figure out what type of character I wanted to move forward with in the brand. And you're going to see that. Then got the students to start creating really awesome animations for social content. Again, there might be a cost associated with the animation program. For an app to do this, I think it's like, you get a free trial. So you get to do 2 weeks for free or a month for free. And then the cost is maybe $40 a year if you wanted to move forward with it. But again, I always incorporate free things so that you're always going to find a way to be able to do anything in the thing without breaking the bank. Yeah. Can you talk about the course or membership? Yeah, absolutely. So all this here, I can show you guys a little bit about what students have had to say about it. We've seen a couple of things about what's covered in terms of the style of things that are created. But just to give you a rundown, how it works is you come into the membership and then you learn the basics of how to create AI art. It takes probably about maybe an hour and a half to get like the real good basics of prompting. I start to give you some cheater methods on how to like really create mind-blowing things very quickly. I give you a lot of resources on how to understand different like art movements and how to find artists that are dead that you can get inspiration from. And then the community is really working together and sharing resources too. So that's been incredibly helpful. But basically for the creativity that converts membership by itself, the idea is basically how to get good at basic to advanced illustration, how to actually create branded images for your brand, for creating different things for print on demand products. There's a program that's included that includes ads. You have the ability to be able to essentially, like the main thing is, can you create highly engaged viral content? Can you create highly engaged viral ad creatives? And then the rest of it is just gravy. Right? So the rest of it, like if you want to do a book or you want to create a fun dress for yourself, or if you want to create like an entire line of things that you want to sell to your email list or to your customers or whatever, you can do that as well. So what I noticed is like you can come in here and learn how to create stuff that you think is really interesting. It's going to ignite your inner child and you're going to be like, wow, this is so much fun. And then you'll start incorporating it. Instead of posting a social content with a random picture, you'll go quickly generate an image and add it with whatever writing you have to promote your business. So if you're trying to get a coaching client, you might have a fun story you're going to share, and then you would go illustrate an image within 1 to 4 minutes, add that to your social content thing. And yeah, and Trisha, definitely selling Indigenous stock images would be wonderful because it's definitely a needed thing for sure. So how the breakdown of this works is like just for the membership to learn how to create images, animations, ads, social content products, you get 1 time a month live coaching and 2 times a month live workshops on what's like currently happening. currently you would get access to all the replays that are in there, which have everything from like how to do character design for comic books to how to create tarot and oracle cards, and flashcards or affirmation cards, even game boards, really cool product stuff, but also, how to use this for social content. There's a whole entire program on there with ads on how to do everything that we talked about with the ad strategy today. So it's $67 a month. There's a $497 one-time initiation fee for this one. If you want to do the higher level thing, this is with our branding and design track, which includes my $2,000 program called the Brand Launcher. And what you'll see here, this is where it gets really fun. So I ended up taking this experience that I had with these comic book artists that were not being very nice to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a brand that's around comics. So yeah, Monse, no, this is not the member, unless you upgraded, and we'll have to go back and check. You may have upgraded. We'll have to go and check. But so basically, this is the Brand Launcher. This is the art design and branding track. And it's, hi, my name is Jenna. I help people with DIY and brand stuff. It all starts with an idea. Ask yourself, does this idea work for the industry? Will the target market be attracted to this idea? Is this the right style for the person or product being branded? This is what I teach in the Brand Launcher. You could ask yourself, should you create an actual character for a brand or use design elements for a brand with the power of artificial intelligence? And so in this track of the program, we end up going through graphic design, brand strategy, brand character, web design, social content, and social selling, and our whole entire selling system. And so this one is $197 a month with no initiation fee. And if you're struggling to, anything like what I offer for this one, I leave it as an open policy that if you're like, hey, I really need a kickstart to get this going, could you jump on a Zoom call with me and show me the ropes? At this level, I'll do one-on-one onboarding calls. It's not required, but you can request it. And so that's with the $197 a month. So if you go to creativity.converts.com, which I'll put in here, you can check these out with the two different legs of it. And you can see here, you can click here to enroll on that one. But if you want to go back to the basic membership, and of course you can always upgrade later. Some people want that lower cost per month and they just want to focus on fun creative projects and social content. They're not into doing the web design part yet. You do get Creativity That Converts in the Brand Launcher side. So it says everything in Creativity That Converts, but includes graphic design, web design, and brand design. Yeah, what do you want to know? So you saw all the things that are here. Yeah. So on the Brand Launcher and brand and design side, we get into graphic design. So this one right now, we're currently in the midst of filming. So where we are right now in the actual processes, we have done videos on graphic design, brand strategy, and we're just now getting into the rest of this. So you have videos that you would be able to go catch up on this. But basically, the difference between the two and where this really starts to get super exciting is that this side of things, as we dive really into supporting you with creating your own brand, with creating your own website, with creating branded materials, the deep strategy behind creating a captivating personal brand where you have this character that's you. Yeah, this really covers the graphic design, brand strategy, brand character, web design part. In the actual Creativity That Converts, you do learn how to do some brand images. You'll be able to create images that look like you, but it won't cover the design or the website design, all of that stuff. It won't get deep into the marketing side. This is more about creating illustrations and products and all product development and all of those things here. We just dive deep into the graphic design side on the 197 side. So I'm going to share this with you guys so you guys can get a little clearer idea. So if you've been interested in me really quick, if I have and you guys keep asking questions because I'll let you know. And creating your own AI art, even if you're tech phobic, even if you're not not artistic, I have an amazing membership called Creativity That Converts. Main purpose of this membership is to teach you how to actually create amazing jaw-dropping images for your business You will not have to hire a brand photographer. You won't have to hire an illustrator. You may not even need to hire a designer, because you can use these images to really upgrade the way your website looks, the way that your slideshows look, all your printables, social media content, literally in seconds. So the way that the AI art is created is through typing a description in, and within 1 to 4 minutes, beautiful images come out that are completely unique, that you have 100% commercial rights to. Now, this membership has been open for a couple of months and people absolutely love it. So don't just take my word for it. Hear a couple of my students and what their experience has been in this membership.
I'm so excited. This is the best thing I've done for myself, and just having such a blast. And I just want to change my whole life now, because I feel like I finally tapped into a passion that I didn't know I had. And I couldn't be more excited or more grateful. I can't even get through the class because I can't stop creating images.
So for me as a mom, this is like really life-changing, because for so many years I've been wanting to create an online business, and I've gone through so many different, all kinds of stuff that I didn't monetize. And this I monetized within 3 or 4 days, literally. And it took so little time to produce the art. So I get to use my imagination. I get to use my creativity that's bubbling up inside of me for years and years that I haven't been able to express, and play around with different effects and different techniques. And then I get to have so much fun. And I don't have a lot of time to have a lot of fun as a mom. The amount of work that I could create in a short amount of time with my baby on top of me, breastfeeding, like, it's amazing. It's amazing. I don't have time to whip out a canvas and put my paints on my palette and start a painting. I don't have time for that. I would love to. I'm a painter naturally, but I just don't have time right now. And I'm about to have a second baby, so I definitely won't have time. But this allows me to express my artistic self and make an income, which is like double amazing. This is a game changer because it actually has so many like ways that I can monetize.
I feel like you've changed my life. It's what has held me back all of these years with my Photoshop skills is my inability to draw.
I know.
This is the most amazing thing I have ever seen.
I know. Yes, that's why I had to do this. I'm like getting emotional. I'm like, oh. It's just, I think the reason why I'm getting emotional is like, you guys know the struggle of wanting to create creative things and not being able to do it. And then like you can, and it's just like such a great, I can't believe I'm getting emotional right now. This is so funny. It's just such an amazing thing to be able to express.
For me to be able to develop elements and pull them together in photo collage, which is one of the things I most love doing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
So if you've been interested in creating your own AI art, even if you're tech phobic, even if you're not artistic, I have an amazing membership called Creativity That Converts. I think this is repeating now. Okay. So yeah, do we have any more questions there? Hopefully that will give you an idea of what the experiences are of some of the people. I didn't even ask them to film. I got their permission, but it was just filming office hours. These were just like things that came out of office hours when we were talking. And one of the things that I didn't mention here was that this is a little bit different than like a normal course or something, because there's a community of 100 people in it currently, 120. And they're all collaborating. But most importantly, every single thing that you create, I comment on. And Alexa's office hours rock. Yeah, and you haven't even seen the AI side of it. We collaborate on things. I also do a lot to try to get the members' business. So we promote the different products that they have to my email list, to the Facebook group. I just got them a client last week who was wanting, this is really fun. We do contests every week. And I had them design for fun the cover of like a romance novel book. And it doesn't take that long to create stuff. So everybody jumped in And they ended up, this woman, like basically who had requested, she wanted to purchase a cover design from one of my students. So we put this up as the contest. We're like, okay, anybody who submits to this, you might get chosen to actually get your cover printed. And if you do, you get money. And so I'm really going to start diving deeper into that because I have an audience of so many people who need design work done. She was just shocked because this particular client would spend a lot of time and a lot of money getting book covers generated, and everybody was submitting. So Trisha, so the membership's the same for both. The only difference between the two is that the 197 version has access to an additional course called the Brand Launcher, and has additional feedback and support when it comes to web design and actual graphic design. So everything we're talking about is all inclusive in both, with the exception of when we're talking about brand design and web design. So that's the difference. And sometimes people like to come in on the brand launcher side because they don't want to pay the initiation fee. They want to come in and they want to do it all. But then some people do the other side because they want the lower cost, but they have to pay the initiation fee up front. So it's up to you. Like, you can't really lose. You can always, once the $500 initiation would be covered in monthly payments. Let's say hypothetically, if you went through the brand launcher and you're like, I love this, now I want to downgrade to the $67 a month, you can do that too, as long as the initiation fee had been covered in those monthly payments. So the memberships are together. The only difference is on the brand launcher side, we're really diving into like actual web design on different platforms like Squarespace and Wix and ClickFunnels, and we're like doing a lot more actual like sales page, a shopping cart, e-commerce store, setting up memberships. It's definitely more of like the design part. The reason why I decided to do that was because there are some people who come into this membership that just want to create cool images for social content and for their ads. There's some people who come into the membership that like want to do this as a full-on business, and they want to do design for other clients. They want to have the graphic design skills to create templates or own a membership where they sell assets, and those assets have graphic design elements. So it really just depends on what you're trying to do. And Trisha, does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Yes. So any other so I saw there was a question about, is there private support with you? So people kind of feel like there's private support because in the office hours and in the workshops, I really address everybody who attends. If doing private work, like if you wanted to hire me to sit down with you and create like a private strategy, that's like, you're looking at about $1,000 a month to do that. And you get a half an hour of my time every week. That's what my private coaching sessions look like. But yeah, Alex says it definitely feels like private support. Most of and oh my God, I didn't even tell you guys, we have a bunch of coaches that are coming in right now. So we have ChatGPT coach who's starting tomorrow, who is a professor in Sydney. He's a professor of economics, an amazing ChatGPT person. We're working on a software product together. So cool. So he's going to come in and start doing office hours on Thursdays. We have a magnetic messaging and social content coach who comes in and does office hours on Tuesdays. And then we haven't decided the video social content time yet, but I don't know if you guys know who James Cooper is, also known as Coop, but he's going to be coming in and talking about micro video content. And then, so yeah, he is amazing. So it's really like well-supported environment. And yeah, I'm just obsessed. Like, this membership is like the funnest thing I've ever done. It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like fun. All the coaches are at both levels. So yeah, literally the only difference is just a $2,000 branding and web design program that teaches graphic design skills. So when we say graphic design skills, I mean like typography, layout, all the things that are like about graphic design. So that's the only difference. All of the office hours and everything are at the lower level too. Yes. I'm thinking at some point, I'm going to just merge everything into being the $197 a month. So if having at $67 a month is important to you, this would be the time to get in to make it simpler, because how many office hours are there? So there are 3 reoccurring office hours with my coaches a week. Office hours with me happens once a month, the last Thursday of the month, and I alternate between morning and evening times to make sure we can catch every time zone. But I do live 1 to 3 hour workshops, like about every other week. That's on whatever is the newest going on in AI. So and there is a recorded library. So everything that we have so far, you'll be able to access. One of the really interesting things about this technology is that I have to keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on all the time. And so part of the reason why this is a membership, not like a one-off course, is because I am re-recording, updating videos all the time. And so it's like, we like in the actual membership, and I can actually, would it help you guys to see what the membership looks like? Let me see if I can actually bring in the inside of it for you. Let's see here. So we do all of it on Circle, no Facebook groups or anything like that, which I love, which has been really helpful. And let me see if I can log in here. Here. Okay, you'll be able to see what this looks like here. So in Circle, this is what Circle looks like. If your own personal Facebook, but there's no advertisements or anything like that. And over here on the left-hand side, you can see here's the creativity that converts. It's like announcements from me, art show and tell community, like where everybody's going in and kind of showcasing the different types of art and cards they're creating and like things like that. And then you go into the course lesson part and you'll see lessons here. You can't really see this here because it's not diving into where the actual course lessons are because I'm on the back end. But we do AI tutorials where everybody's sharing different tutorials that they find on how to do different things. And then we put the workshops and the replays in here. And then we share wins. So when people are like making sales and stuff, look, I got another custom project. Here's a card design question. Here's tarot cards I'm doing. I got my first commission. So we share all of our wins here. We show different projects, what things are happening and all that. And then this is really fun. This is like the AI weekly contest. So we ended up doing this thing where we made everybody like, you don't have to do this, but they were doing like these really fun romance novels. And then the client got to come in and pick which one. And she like totally took a couple people. She's looking at them to hire them for doing this. So it was like really fun. So this was like one contest and it was so fun because there's not very many men in this membership. And one of the guys who is in the membership even submitted a cover, which I thought was really cool of him to do that. Here was our Vogue cover contest. And what I do is I take the winners and I promote them. And because these only take anywhere between 1 to 5 minutes to create, it's really not very time consuming and really fun to do this. It's like a fun creative exploration. So that's for all the creativity that converts stuff. And then it goes into the brand launcher. And just so you guys can see what, let me see if I can show you this here. Here, we're just now getting into, I'm filming this. So I just filmed a 2.5 hour lesson today on graphic design principles. So you can see here, like exploration of platforms, research and product development, product price, place, promotion, brand mood boards. We then get into design principles. Then we get into step-by-step of like different highly converting web design things. So this is the part of the 197 program. But what I did, because I think that everybody needs ads regardless, was I also included the AI art ad system in with both levels. So really what you end up getting with the brand launcher that's different is that upgraded 197 is just like more time with me and more lessons that are around graphic design and branding and web design. So yeah. So that's basically that. Do you guys have any more questions about anything? So with the actual graphic design side with the brand launcher, you're probably going to want to have Photoshop at some point. That being said, for the lower level membership, no, you don't need it. Everything we do is in Canva. And if we have some print program that we're trying to like get ready for printing. Yeah. So Monse says, if some of you here have never been in a program or a membership from Jenna, I recommend to enroll. She's very generous, professional, gives so much value. I love everything she creates, and I've been in her program since 2015. Thanks, Monse. Yeah, everything that you need to know is taught. So there's no expectation. My specialty is actually working with non-designers. So I love working with people who've never done any of this stuff before. I actually like working with the non-designers and non-creatives even better because they come as a fresh, they're moldable. Sometimes when more traditional graphic designers, and we do get a lot of those too, there's people in the program who have been like doing pattern design and all this stuff. Yeah, like non-designer, non-creative people are my favorite because we're often taught as children that we're not talented enough or that we're not creative enough or that these things are hard. And when you have the ability to realize that there's a creator in every one of us and that you can use these things to finally express yourself, that's like why I was crying in the thing, because I've never considered myself a traditionally talented artist. I'm very trained. Like I got a degree in multimedia design. I went and designed for the biggest corporation on earth. It was all through sweat and tears. There's some people I know that come out of the womb and can draw realistically. And I'm like, man, that must be nice. What's cool about this is it allows you to creatively express yourself without a lot of the endless years of pain. And for people like me, I'm a designer by trade originally, and by some of the people who came into the membership we have some traditional artists in there that love this because they don't have to spend the time, even though they know how to. We have people who could never create custom illustrations. We're always relying on stock illustrations to create stuff that they can now execute their ideas better because they can actually get the artwork out. So they can get the artwork that they want for a particular project. They don't have to rely on the limitation of a stock company. So how much do you think we would need to invest in AI subscriptions each month? Good question. I would say like maybe total, depends. Remember how I told you there's like one that's really good that's about 60? That's like the highest level membership. You can get one for 10. The difference is it's got some annoying limitations. Not that you can't create the work, it's just how you create the work is annoying. Like it's done it in a less pleasurable way. So what do you mean by initiation fee and what is it for? So initiation fee it's a one-time membership fee to prevent people, like instead of just making the membership $67 a month, I find that people are committed to the process when they invest in it. And if you don't want to pay the initiation fee, that's why I have a $197 version. But for people who are like, I am really about protecting the tools of this because it's such a competitive advantage, that if it was just a low price membership where people come in and find out all the secrets and bounce, I don't want that to happen. And so it's been really good for creating a tight-knit community. Yeah, like the bonuses are you get an AI art ads system course incorporated into this so that you can actually do ads with all of this as well. That program is usually sold separately. And it doesn't include anything about actual AI art generation. It's just the ads part. Yeah. As you can see, I'm like filming the brand launcher right now. I have taught courses in graphic design before. I used to do teaching this without the AI back for the first 7 years of my business. This is what I taught, was just teaching graphic design and branding. Something I want you to know is that the likelihood of me merging these two programs together into one at $197 a month is likely the direction I'm going to go to make this simpler. You guys are helping me figure that out on this call because I don't want there to be any confusion. It's the same membership. It's just that there's a higher level program attached to it. And so if $197 a month is what it will be for all future people, even if there won't be a lower level option eventually. Yeah. All right. It was so good to see you guys. Yeah. So this is in USD. Do you have any other questions about anything? And I'm trying to think what else. It would be super fun to have you. Thank you guys so much for being patient and helping me deal with all of the tech stuff. Yeah. Carrie, if you want to have a quick conversation, sure. Anybody who has any private questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook or you can send me, let's see here. Anybody who has any private questions or wants to set up a time, you can send me an email. It's open right now for the next month. I do close it often. The main thing is like, it's going to go directly into $197 a month version. So that's going to happen in probably the next month as I'm starting to test stuff. We're going into, this is the pre-launch of this. I have a tendency to raise prices as things get crazier. Awesome. I'm so happy you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Awesome. Would love to have you guys in. Let me know. Dr. Kara, go ahead and reach out to me via email and we'll jump on a call. Yeah, awesome, Trisha. Super excited to have you. Yeah. 197 and need to drop. Yeah, as long as the initiation fee was covered, it's $497. So as long as that the difference was covered in that, then 100% you can drop down to 67 a month. Yep. Yeah, awesome. Yes. Awesome, Tanika. And Tanika, because you're a member of my former membership with launching, you can upgrade for just the initiation fee and then you get access to both things. I don't know if you know that program, actually, Tanika, that you're in, you know, that membership that I had from a long time ago that you're still in, that program you have access to now sells for 12 grand. So it's good to be founding members on these things because I have a tendency to go high ticket eventually. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Liz, if you're paying $67 a month to me right now, you can upgrade for $500. If you are, current member of any of my former memberships, all you have to do is pay the initiation. Then I stop the second reoccurring thing. Yeah, Kara, I can talk to you after this. Sure. You mean like just stay on? Is that what you mean? Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I really reward my founding members for things. So yeah, the other thing about founding members, they get all the things. So good stuff. Great. All right. Any more questions, you guys? I'm so excited to have you. Thank you so much, Trisha, for signing up. I haven't even looked to see if anybody else did. Would love to have you. And yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you have any questions, reach out at thejen@youcanbrand.com. It's awesome. Thanks again so much. So good to see your bright and shining faces. All right. So I am going to have a quick chat with Dr. Kara. So let's see here.
Jenna?
Yeah. Oh, you're echoing.
Oh, see, hang on. I think I'm going to get off.
It seems like you have two different, here, let me mute you on one of these. Yeah, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh.
but you're echoing because you have two. Here, let me see if I can do something really quick.
Is it possible that the other people can get off?
Yeah, this is why I was saying you should reach out to me. We'll set up a separate room just to make this easier. So hold on one second. I'll send you, let's see here. I'm going to send you a different Zoom link.
Okay.
Let me see here. And, all right. All right. Okay. So Dr. Kara, I just sent you the link. It'll take me a second to get over there, but just go ahead and click on that and then I'll end this here.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye guys. Have a good day.